Right. Well, I want to kick off this small business as one of the largest, coolest, globally recognized pizza, Caliente pizza and draft house with our owner here, Mr. Nick Bogaz. Nick, welcome, 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 and thank you for being on the show.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much.
I'm very familiar with you guys. And now, of course, you guys are so expanded. You have 5 locations now. And more than anything, one of the coolest things is that, what I mentioned just a second ago, you guys represent the city of Pittsburgh for pizza globally. I mean, 3 international awards.
The world's best pan pizza, 2016.
A globally recognized award that came second, correct?
Yeah, so 2017, one of my general managers won the world's largest pizza stretch in Las Vegas, and he beat out competitors from all over the world. And then 2018, my chef won the best non-traditional pizza at the International Pizza Expo in Las Vegas. And then 2019, we traveled to Parma, Italy as part of the World Pizza Champions team, which there's only 35 people on the team from all over the world. And Eric, my chef, and I were honored to be on the team. And his pizza won the best American pizza in Italy in 2019. So things that I just always believed that at one point in time I was going to have my own shop. And my wife's always been my rock and supported me in our dreams. It's been ups and downs. I mean, I kind of gave you all the highlights, but there's been, times where it didn't look so well too. And I think you just got to keep fighting. I always like to say, if you're running a marathon and that last leg, if you walk off, you never know if the guy in front of you was going to fall over and you could have finished first. So you might as well always finish the race. And I think that's what's important.
Amen. Yes. I agree. I really find that, a lot of us, here, from Pittsburgh, we know what it's like to have to fight, and I think a lot of us are also very blue collar, very stubborn SOBs, which makes us pretty cool and it gives us a little extra edge sometimes, which is great, because when you're a fighter, that's when you'll stick with something to achieve it and keep going after it. And I really hope that there are a lot of people out there that might hear this and know that that if they're going through a rough patch, especially now that they're not alone, and that, keep going, keep your head up. And, when you hit your lowest of lows, just know there's only one place to go, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. The past doesn't determine your future. Only you do. And I think that's the thing. You just got to work towards it. And I know for myself, that's why I wrote my book, The Pizza Equation. Came out last February. It was my story all through the pizza industry. And then from there, I really decided that I felt like I could give back to the small business community. So I started a podcast, The Business Equation, that comes out every Monday. And I just feel like that's kind of where I'm at now, is able to give back to young entrepreneurs and people that want to get into having their own business.
100%. And I love that you do that. And, where can people find your podcast again?
It's The Business Equation. It's on all platforms, and you can find them all at nickbogaz.com. And Bogaz is Bogazz, animal, cat, zebra.
And so we got the 5 locations right now, but Summer of Champions campaign, which you guys have asked me to be a part of. So everybody stay tuned, because I'm going to do it. Hashtag champions eat pizza.
Right. So originally the plan was we were going to run the summer champions, run some championship pizzas around the Olympics. We always support the community. Any fundraising we can do and give to, if it's our time, if it's our pizzas, if it's donations for gift cards or gift baskets, we always give. We just feel like that's part of the community. And we really needed the community at the beginning of this pandemic. There were nights in the very beginning of this as a small business owner, I wondered what this was going to mean. Were we going to have a business after this? Was I going to be able to provide for the 200 employees we have? And the community came out and just supported us like nonstop. So I felt like, why don't we call this Summer Champions, rather than scrapping it just because the Olympics are gone? Why don't we put it around our customers and do something special for them? So on top of offering the Quack Attack, which was the 2016 pizza that we mentioned, and offering the Mima, the best pizza in America, we wanted to give out a pizza that's never been released. So when we traveled to Naples last year, Eric had placed in the top 3 with his Luca Brasi pizza. And we thought that would be great to bring out. It's very difficult to make because it uses a homemade fresh sausage that's made in-house. So to keep up with demands is really tough, but we felt like we wanted to go ahead and do that for the customer this summer, and make the sausage with all the love that we put into it, be able to put it out to Pittsburgh, really. So we're really proud to be able to offer another pizza that brought home a trophy. They allowed us to sell cocktails to go. And I said, well, why don't we take advantage of that? And, it wasn't a cheap investment, especially during times like this, but we bought slushy machines for each store. And our bartenders were so happy, and bar managers and our beverage director, to finally be able to use their skills they haven't been able to use for the past couple months. So they put together some great, concoctions, I guess, of different. They've got different flavors. So all the stores have 2 flowing at all times. You can take out, you can dine in with them. And while the governor allows us, they have liquor in them, not just malt beverage. So that's the best part, I think.
I have to go sample one of these. I'll take my little city cousin Maria. We'll go. We'll take a field trip down the street.
That sounds great.
Heck yeah. Well, Nick, it has been so great. Thank you so much for coming on and allowing people to get to know Caliente Pizza on more of a personal level, because the story is great. The food is amazing, award-winning, and now I'm sure so are the adult slushies.
Yeah.
And as you guys always like to say, which I love, it's part of like your, motto, if you will, is welcome to the family. So now everybody can be a part of the family now too.
That's it. Welcome to our family of champions. Glad to have you.
Thanks, Nick. And until next time, I'll see you around the neighborhood.
All right, you got it. Take care.
Okay, bye. Hey, welcome. Everybody, meet Miss Christina Dickerson Creative, on behalf of Savor Pittsburgh, and honestly, someone I call a friend. Hi, girl.
Hey, how are you? Cheers. I see you've got your wine.
I do. We're talking Savor. Cheers. Cheers to everybody back at home. Anyone who doesn't know, who didn't catch it last year when I did it, I got to come and cover Savor Pittsburgh, and it is one of the biggest foodie events in the city of Pittsburgh. It's been, out there for years, at different locations, and it involves, the coolest, most fun competition for all of the chefs and some of the best restaurants, eateries, and whatnot in the city. So, tell us like a little bit about it and what you guys have going on right now with, everything of the way the world is right now.
Right. That's right. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate all the love. First of all, thank you so much. Savor Pittsburgh we would have been celebrating our 15th anniversary this year. But 2020 has dealt us a few things that none of us could have possibly expected. And, our goal has always been to celebrate our restaurant community, because Pittsburgh has the best restaurant community. Let's face it. We have got so many great people, so many great restaurants, and so much talent that, to be honest, it breaks my heart to see what our restaurant community is going through right now. And they have been supporting us for 15 years. And now it's our turn to give back to them. It's our turn to, get takeout whenever we can. Right now we're not able to, dine in, but we can still do things by buying gift cards from them. But needless to say, we postponed the Savor Pittsburgh event until next year, 2021, which we all hope and pray is a much better year than 2020.
Yes, exactly.
But with that being said, we want to continue to keep the momentum alive for Savor Pittsburgh, and also for our charity benefactor, McGee Women's Research Institute and Foundation, because they are such an important part of our community. That organization and the impact that they have on women's health research not only benefits families in our community, but they benefit families globally. And we want to make sure that we don't lose, as the event planning team for Savor, that we don't lose the momentum for them. We want to continue to build awareness for them and raise funds for them whenever feasible. So we're going to just keep Savor Pittsburgh alive in the ways that we can.
Heck yes. And cheers to that. We are going to do that. And I have such a beautiful community that we have here, and to see everyone interact, I'm going to miss it. But you know what? Savor Pittsburgh needs to do like my girlfriends and I have decided to do, Christina. We're not including 2020 as a part of our age. So we'll just pretend it didn't exist. And we shall celebrate your 15th anniversary in 2021.
That's right, girlfriend. That's exactly what we're going to do.
That's what we're going to do.
It's going to be an amazing party when we get to bring everybody together. So for
really
right now, really what our goal is to keep working with our partners and not lose that relationship that we have. And that's why I'm so excited about what we're talking about tonight with the partnership between Leo Carius Oils and Coyote Outdoor Living.
And for anyone who doesn't know, pull up a second screen and Google that. That's French for Google. And go check them out because they are phenomenal.
They are phenomenal. And they've been so supportive of us. And now they are giving away a grill valued at $2,999.
Yes.
Tomorrow,
yes.
We're announcing a winner. And I'm so excited. Partnership with the Leo Carius Oils. And if you haven't heard about Leo Carius Oils, they are award-winning, cold-infused oils that will change the way you do everything in the kitchen. They have the rosemary, they have the basil, they have the lemon, the orange, the oregano, just so many amazing flavors that truly will take your cooking to the next level. Unless 10% of all sales using promo code SAVOR on the Leo Carius website benefits McGee Women's Research Institute. And
that's amazing.
It's amazing. It's going to continue until September, but up until tonight, if people purchase their oils, use the promo code SAVOR, then they're entered to win a 30-inch stainless steel S-Series grill from Coyote Outdoor Living that's valued at $2,999. So Leo Carius Oils is LIOKAREAS.com. So go there. That's where you purchase all these fabulous oils from Kalamata, Greece. These partners come together because of McGee Women's Research Institute and Foundation and the work that they are doing on women's and infants' health. I mean, it's a phenomenal organization that we are so lucky to have here in Pittsburgh because it goes beyond our community. And it goes to around the world making an impact. And I think that, in the end, that's what Pittsburgh is about, is making a difference. And I think we see that right now. We see our community coming together and supporting each other and trying to make a difference. And I want to say I appreciate everyone so much. And we'll look forward to seeing everyone in person in 2021.
Yes, you said it perfectly, Christina. And to be from this city that is the small town city, but that is strong enough to anneal steel, and is globally recognized, and not only for being such a perseverant, strong, resilient little city through the years, and now through our renaissance and being a foodie city, which incorporates Savor, but also through, our technology and our medical advancements. And McGee, Women's, Research Institute and Foundation is such a huge part of that. And yes, and we thank them and hold them to our hearts very, very dearly, and a part of what makes Pittsburgh so wonderful. Okay, so how can people go and follow and keep up with everything Savor?
Absolutely. Just give us a follow on Instagram or Facebook at Savor Pittsburgh and keep up with what we're doing, because we will be unveiling some exciting things coming up throughout the rest of the summer, into the fall, even into next year, as we all continue to look forward. And more than anything, I just hope everybody stays well. Like, keep your mask on, keep your chin up, and keep smiling. Stay healthy.
100%. Christina, thank you so much for everything that everything that you've done and all your support.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I am so stoked to have my Andrews Stockey, and I do say my Andrew Stockey because I always say that to all of my friends. I mean, everyone already knows who you are. The man, the myth, the legend. He needs no introduction. I mean, Channel 4, Channel 4 action sports director and anchor. And I'm going to take a moment to be a little, I'm going to brag on you a little bit, okay?
Oh, please, go right ahead.
I love it, Andrew. So I'm a very blessed girl because I've gotten to know you, here and there in salt and pepper meetings and run-ins through the years. And of course, we know that Sally Wiggin was my very first guest on this at-home edition of Nat Around Town. And I actually remember even bumping into the two of you together up in the press box. We were talking like a trip to Heinz Field with Natalie is like a trip to the zoo because I'm down in the tunnel, then I'm like on the field, then I'm up in the press box, and I get to, hang out with you guys. And so anyway, and then of course, charity events and everything else we've gotten to do and spend some time getting to know each other. So I'm happy to have you here so that everyone can get to know you a little the way I do.
Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. But listen to this. Okay. So fun facts about Andrew. So, okay. It's actually all professional, I swear. 2014 Emmy winner for Best Sportscast, right? Honored multiple times by the Pennsylvania Associated Press. Of course, you've got Operation Football. You've got co-host of Black and Gold Primetime. And then stuff I obviously also got to know. You do the Race for the Cure. You're a golfer. You're a runner. But what I really want to talk about is that you're also apparently a Pittsburgh coffee shop connoisseur.
I am. I love small independent coffee shops. Whether on the south side, in the city. It's funny. I never drank coffee growing up or even in college. No, I didn't drink coffee until I started doing the morning news back in 2006 with Kelly Fry.
Really?
That's my first foray into news. And part of the deal is, since I was the new guy, to make coffee for everybody. So by making coffee every day, I learned to appreciate it. And now I drink like way too many cups every day.
And you've got one there.
I love it. Yeah. So I love the little coffee shops, like on the south side. They're kind of quirky. Like there's one with a garage door. I don't want to call their names out because I'll get yelled at if I don't say all of them. But it's just kind of a cool place to go.
I agree. We have a ton that have just really, through the years, just kind of popped up. And I'm allowed to say this, but I also love like cigars and stuff. So like I love to go and hang out in the Strip District, like Leaf and Bean and all those places too. So
by the way, that's where I get my coffee. When I go to the Strip District, I don't go in there for the cigar. I go in there and it's the cheapest cup of coffee in the Strip. You go in there, you grab it, it's like $1.50, and then I walk and do my shopping.
Yes, and it's fantastic. And of course, I'm an equal girl, so I also love La Prima. Okay, supporting all. But anyway. So regardless, okay. So I know that what I found to be really interesting that I didn't know about you, is that how you got into all of this. Not an accident, but it was definitely not your chosen path. You were more on the business side of things. So tell us a little bit about getting started and growing up and where you've lived and how you've kind of moved up the ladder, because you've had such an interesting career. And I think with these kids and bringing on all these high school seniors and the people of our community, like it's really inspiring to know that life will wax and wane, and sometimes it has a really great way of working itself out. And so anyways, I'm going to give you the floor.
Hi, Natalie. Thank you. And I think it's important for especially young people to know that just because you study something in college doesn't mean that's what you're going to do with the rest of your life. I mean, I did a little TV in high school, only because I just kind of fell into it. But when I got to college, I knew I wanted to work in television on the business side and sales and marketing. And so I went to Ohio University after growing up in Connecticut, and my focus was business. But there are no like TV business clubs. So I got involved with campus radio and television. And I started to learn more about the journalism and the mechanics and what goes on in terms of putting together a newscast and a program or hosting a radio show. So I did that in college. And then finally I graduated and I went to ESPN, where I had interned before. And there was an opening there for an account executive. And this job I dreamed of, like, oh my goodness, if I get this job, I'm going to run ESPN someday. That's what I'm going to do. So
yeah, because you were into sports. I mean, so you were already into sports. Like that was a passion of yours,
Yes, yes.
Now doing what you went to school for. At ESPN, hello. I mean, could it get any cooler?
It was fantastic. I mean, Bristol, Connecticut, not exactly the best place to hang out on a Friday night, but I loved ESPN, and I was really excited about having this opportunity that I applied for. I didn't get the job. And the guy I lost out to is now like the president of ESPN, so I don't feel so bad. Anyway.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'll say.
So, but they said, look, why don't you spend some time in Sports Center? Maybe the next job will come open. And I said, okay. So I accepted that. I worked as an associate producer on a number of shows, doing everything from running the teleprompter to producing what have you. And so I did that for a while. And then I said, I don't want to stay here anymore. I still want to go on the business side. So I left ESPN, moved to Chicago. And I worked at what was called Sports Channel at the time. And the best part about that job, and this is 1990, so I'm dating myself, I had floor seats for the Bulls during Michael Jordan's first championship run.
Oh my gosh, that's
great
awesome.
Perk. Great
and
perk.
Chicago listen, Chicago, I mean,
Oh.
next to our amazing city, of course, but you know what? Chicago reminds me a lot of Pittsburgh, but
it does.
It's the whole history and the places, and I love that city. It's fantastic.
Oh, I mean, I love Chicago too. I go back all the time because I have family there.
Okay.
And so I worked there in the sales department. And I realized after a while, this isn't really what I thought it would be. I wasn't really passionate about it. I think I was one of those people who, I was a kid, I was 22 at the time. I said, it's got to be more to life, and it's not just about making money and working in a fancy office. It's about, maybe just making a difference and trying to, make the world a little bit better. I know it sounds bizarre, but I started to think about that. So I had some tapes.
And at that age, wow, that's amazing.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's kind of weird to think about life that way, but I think at the time, not early 90s, the world was changing, not the way it is now, but you look at the world differently. So I got a job in DC with Fox News. Now, let me preface this by saying it was not the Fox News now. We were just getting into news. It wasn't even a cable channel. We were trying to get the Fox affiliates into news, and I was a producer there for about 3 months. And then I got a call from the Fox station in Hartford, Connecticut, near where I grew up. And they were looking for a weekend sportscaster. And, and they said, we saw your tape. We love you. Why don't you come up for an interview? I came up and I got the job. And I always tell a story because it's kind of funny. So I've been on the job, and my news director, I was very excited. I went to see her. I said, hey, thank you again for hiring me. I'm really excited. I'm working in the town I grew up in. I'm just kind of curious, why me? Of all the people you could have hired who had, many had more experience than me. She said, Andrew, it was two things. Number one, you're from the area, so you know the local sports, not just professional, but college and high school. And number two, and you got to remember, it's the early 90s, so Magnum PI and Tom Selleck was big. You're the only guy the only guy who didn't have a mustache.
Oh my God. Okay, funny personal story.
Please.
Swear to gosh, this is hysterical. So my girlfriend Cindy, if she's watching, we were just making fun of her son who just graduated from Penn State.
Okay.
And him and his buddies actually think it's hysterical to have the Tom Selleck mustache. So now all these young men have grown these. And so our video that we made and we sent to her son, we were like, Austin, the mustache has to go.
That's why I've never grown one.
Andrew Stockey is telling you guys.
Yes.
You have better odds if you shave the mustache.
Well, and that's one of the reasons I've never grown one or grown any facial hair, because the guy got that job. So that was where I started.
Cool.
It's crazy, I know. So I was there for about a year and a half, and then I got an offer to be the sports director and the 5-day-a-week guy in Mobile, Alabama, where I'd never been. Yes. And I said, Alabama, okay, well, it's a promotion. Let me give it a try, having never been there before. And, I have to tell you, I loved it. We were on the
Did you
Gulf
really?
Coast. I loved it. I mean, first of all, you're right on the coastline. Okay. So you're 2 hours from New Orleans. You're an hour from Pensacola. You've got the water, you've got golf, you've got the beach. You have the lake. I had the entire Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, this is right. That's just true. There's no comparison. Thanks, Andrew.
You're welcome. You have crawfish, you have Cajun. I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot about living in a different part of the country. And, I'd never been south, so it was really a great experience. I learned about covering the Southeastern Conference, which was a different kind of football.
Sure enough.
Yeah, we love the Steelers, and we think Steeler fans are passionate. Yeah, it's a little crazy down there.
Football is life. I'm being a part Southern girl. I think everyone's really sorry. I'm kind of leaking that out more and more. I'm a part South Carolina girl, and actually, so one of my photographers who shot me for years and did one of my Max magazines together. And some of the photos that people are seeing now is Dennis Kime. He actually was a great NASA photographer and then broke out and started to do other photography, but he's based out of Alabama. So when I would go and get to do shoots with him, I've gotten to visit, and you're absolutely correct. Like the food, the people, like I loved it. I loved it. It's such a cool experience and great to get out there, like you said, and see the country and live in different places and grow.
And that's the whole idea of being in journalism. I think it's meeting new people, whether they're in your community or they're halfway across the world. So I was there for 3 years, and then WTAE came to me and offered me a job here. It was time to move up to a bigger market. It was a great opportunity. I'd never really been to Pittsburgh other than to visit maybe a friend of mine while I was in college, since I went to Ohio University. So I came here and thought I'd be here for a couple of years and then move on to the next big location. And 25 years later, I'm still here.
You're still here, and such a wonderful and absolute just part of the chemical makeup of our city. You really are, Andrew, and I love it. I love it. I'm so proud, proud and blessed to know you, and you're such a wonderful person and such a supportive friend as well, by the way. So thank you for all of that.
You're welcome. Welcome. Well, I think you and I both agree that it's about what makes Pittsburgh great is that we all kind of support one another. We find a way to work together and help uplift each other, and by doing that, we uplift everybody. So and Pittsburgh's 100%. A lot like where I grew up. It's a big small town, and I feel very much at home here because of that. We're not perfect, but we are, I think, headed in the right direction, and it's just a great place to live, and that's one of the reasons I've stayed here all these years. Yeah,
it does, and you know what? And I just got done saying this. Was it last week or the week before? And because someone had asked me, and I was doing an interview myself and for a podcast, and I said, the city embraced me, I mean, and I embraced it, and it's like I never thought I would move back after touring around, going to all the places I've been and the industry and the entertainment world, and coming back to Pittsburgh. I never thought I would be so excited to stay, but I just fell in love with this place. It was. I always say that I love Pittsburgh the way Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City loves New York City, and it's true. It's so awesome. I love it. And it's the people that make it that way. And okay, so you come to WTAE and you came at an interesting time because that was quite a strong lineup that you were working with and walking into. Was it intimidating at all?
No, because I wasn't from here. I was new. I didn't know the history of WTAE. It's something I've learned over the years. But when I got here, Sally Wiggin was here anchoring the news. Joe DiNardo was doing weather. Obviously, he the whole DiNardo weather. I'm like, DiNardo weather. I didn't even understand what that meant until I came here. And then Bill Hillgrove was our sports director. So you had all these, and then Myron Cope had just finished doing commentaries. He did every night. So at the time I was not intimidated because I didn't know the history.
Yeah, it's probably better.
Time,
yeah, exactly.
I plead ignorance. But over time, you got to know the history of the station. I got to know Adam Lynch, and I had met Don Cannon, and I got to know these famous faces. And what has been what always every day I think about this. I know this is going to sound really kind of silly, but when you walk in that building, you realize you have the jobs that those people used to have, and you have that audience. And when they think of WTAE, they think of Myron Cope and Joe DiNardo, and they think of Paul Long and Adam Lynch and Sally Wiggin. They think of those people. So you're the person who's trying to carry that on, and I'll never be those people. I don't ever want to try to be because they're all unique and different. All I can be is me, and hope that people will trust our organization. And I think we have a great team. I have to say, and if you give me a moment here, at WTAE, I mean, I've had an opportunity to do a lot of different things in a place that I don't think I would ever get that opportunity anywhere else. Going from being a sports anchor to a news anchor, and now doing both. I don't think there's a station in the country that would entrust me with those responsibilities quite like the station I work for. And I'm very, very humbled and proud to be here. It's probably one of the biggest reasons I've stayed.
I love that, Andrew. And it is so true. I mean, I don't play favorites, but I am definitely a TAE strong girl. Clearly, I if people like pay attention, it's like I tend to like pocket myself with you guys. So it's no, you know, just that's the way just, you know, the cookie crumbled, you know, that was like luck of the draw for me to be, you know, directly more associated. But I love, you know, everyone and oh my gosh, the Pompianis and just everyone's just so great. So my goodness. But again though, you're right, like how cool, like you almost kind of gave me the chills talking about that. I can't imagine like a day in the life of Andrew Stockey and like walking into that station when you have these legends themselves. But and honestly, because I know that your mind, you don't think this of yourself, but I'm going to tell you that you're them now. You're a legend. You are building and you have worked on and you're continuing to build your legacy, you know, here. And you know, it's not going to be too far off, you know, with all these younger people coming up that you're the intimidator now. So.
And I'll of course retire, get kicked out. No, no. You know, we do have a lot of great new people, younger people who are just very talented.
Oh, absolutely. I love Elena LaQuatra. She's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
I want to bring her on with me too, because we're two Pittsburgh 50 finalists for cystic fibrosis. And so she's got a really wonderful and good story too. You know, I like her background and her story.
She's absolutely amazing. We got to co-host 50 finalists last year together, which was great. Well, it was I think it was the 25th anniversary last year. And what they wanted to do, no, it was the 24th. And what they wanted to do was bring the past and the present together. And I had emceed the previous, oh goodness, the first 14 or 15 of these back in the day.
Really?
I was part of the first class. I was part of the very first class.
I didn't know that. So you're a 50 finalist alum?
I am. 1996. We started this thing.
That's awesome.
We had you know Cindy Nace.
Yes, of course I know Cindy Nace. Yeah. Very well, very well.
So Cindy was the executive director of Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and she asked me to be one of the first 50 finalists. And you know, back then we had to raise, I think, like $500. You know, we had the Priory, and we didn't know what it would be and what it would turn out to be. And it wound up being a great party and a great time, and I made a lot of good friends. And then I came back and emceed every year after that.
That is so cool. I never knew that. See, I'm learning on this too. But yeah, I never knew that. And actually, I think part of your class then, unless maybe he was like the second or something like that, is Joey DeSalvo. So like DeSalvo Station, because I'm a Latrobe born and raised girl. And so when I was running, he was super supportive, you know, the hometown girl. And I was the class of 2016 and raised 10,000. And then I was a mentor. I know. And then I was a mentor. You got to work your butt off, man. I've never worked so hard and became such. You know what's really cool though? So I was a mentor the next year for Brianna Klein, and we did the same and matched my amount of 10,000 for her the next year. And so it's an amazing foundation. The cystic fibrosis, you know, so it all goes to a great cause. It is one of the more fun parties, I think, for you know the you know, young professionals and young adults. You do the friends I made doing that, I absolutely love, and I've noticed that we all continue to kind of support each other throughout our careers.
Well, it's cool. It's like being part of a fraternity that you're always going to be a part of.
You know what it kind of is? It's like the Pittsburgh fraternity.
So now we're in a fraternity. You didn't know that. Now we're in a fraternity.
We didn't know that. See, we're brothers and sisters. I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, Andrew. So tell me a very funny, maybe not well known funny story or fun fact, like behind the scenes at WTAE. Like, oh, you wouldn't believe, like, you know, some of the stuff, you know, that we have to like be ready for or deal with, and then all of a sudden the cameras are on, so we're going. So you better be ready
that's
to rock and
television.
roll.
Yeah, every day in television, I mean, that you have those moments where, you know, either, you know, it's live, and people, I know it's hard for me to believe people don't understand it's live. You know, you try to explain it to them, but it's live, and so you will have moments where, you know, and I do it every day. You mispronounce something, you say the wrong word, you fumble through something. Probably the one moment I had that obviously everybody's seen on YouTube by now, maybe you haven't, was it was a story about the airlines and how they were charging for everything, you know, for leg room, for you know, to get a pillow, and then also charging for snacks. Well, I didn't say snacks.
Oh, no.
I said
no, you didn't. Okay, listen, I'm going to have to go creep on you when we're done with it.
It's everybody knows. I know. I can't believe you don't know, but I said the word sex by accident.
I can't believe I didn't know that.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
I'm like
It
living in my work bubble.
well, this was many years ago, and when I
Okay.
said it, then I said snacks, whatever. So I thought, okay, nobody saw this. It's not that big a
Yeah.
deal. Nobody's going to know about it. So about a week later, I'm in the newsroom, and we just finished 11 o'clock news. I'm about to walk out, and they had, I think, Jay Leno was on TV, and
Okay.
Leno did this thing, going through news headlines. He goes, "Hey, wait till you meet this Pittsburgh anchor who tells the truth," and they ran the clip.
Shut the front door. You made it onto Jay Leno?
It gets worse. I was on Craig Kilborn the next night. My mother called and she said, "Is everything okay, Andrew? We saw you on TV." I was like, "Oh my God." So,
Andrew, that's hysterical. I can't believe I didn't know that. Like, that's really funny.
Well,
And
it happened
God
like 10
bless.
years ago.
Oh my God. Well, that's when I first moved back here. So, you know.
That's probably my most embarrassing, funny moment.
That's good.
Funny. I laugh at it now, and people have seen it.
You know what? You have to laugh at yourself. We're all human, and it's like you said. I mean, it's live, and it's organic, and we're going through, trying to keep. I mean, the way that the brain has to operate to be able to, read teleprompter. How am I looking? How's my posture? Like, people don't think about how much effort goes into every single second, and the brain's thinking of a million things.
Well, the thing is, there's a whole team behind you that's putting together the newscast. You have producers, you have editors, you have reporters, and you're the person that tries to bring it all together. And you want to do your best job for everybody. And you don't want to be that, you don't want to have this person who's worked all day on this, and you get on the air, you just completely flub it. So you have that I don't know, pressure, but responsibility. And I work with a number of anchors who are very good at this. I mean, Shan Parai is my co-anchor at 5 o'clock, and she's fantastic. I marvel at her. I mean, I'm like, wow. Someday I hope I can be as good as she is.
She is. She is wonderful. Yes, she really is. Well, Andrew, tell me, like, what do you think was the hardest or toughest story that you've had to cover so far, like for our city?
Without question, I think it was the shooting of the 3 police officers in Stanton Heights in 2009. A lot of people. Horrible. Yeah, I mean, you remember. I think most Pittsburghers remember, and the reason I remember that day is because I was on my way out of town. I was headed to Ohio University to speak, and I got a call just as I was hitting 79 south of Bridgeville from the newsroom saying, "Look, we're trying to get a hold of somebody. There's apparently some police activity in Stanton Heights." And so I turned my car around, and this is a Saturday morning, So
wow, yeah.
And I've never been to Stanton Heights. I have to be honest. That was one neighborhood I'd never been to. And
me either, to be honest. Yes.
Yeah, I just had never been there. And I get there and I pull my car up, and all of a sudden the SWAT team's running down the street. So I knew I was there early. And, I saw what was unfolding. And it was, at the time, I wasn't thinking about the large implications. I'm just trying to cover the story, get information. I'm trying to talk to people. I was able to, as one of the first reporters on the scene, maybe the first TV reporter on the scene, I was able to gather a lot of information. And Janelle Hall was anchoring, and Janelle was, I think 7 months pregnant with her first son. So she's in the studio, and I am, her reporter, and I'm like literally running away. I'm trying to get more information. She's trying to keep talking, and we're covering this whole event that morning. And later I found out, obviously, it was 3 police officers and what happened. And then I went live that night from Pittsburgh Police Headquarters. And they said, "Andrew, you'll keep covering the story. We want you to tell the story," which I did. And then, it was all said and done, a 10-hour day. And I was exhausted. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, why don't we go grab something to eat?" I said, "Okay." So we went to Bloomfield to Sorrow's. Yes.
My place.
Yeah. And so I go in there, and I didn't realize, I hadn't thought about the fact that that's where one of the officers, Paul Sheila, was from. That's his neighborhood. And I walk in, and people instantly, they've been watching us all day. So people came up to me in that restaurant and said, they would tell me things about Paul. They told me a little bit about him, the person, the man. This is a guy who was working in finance, who gave it all up because he wanted to be a police officer back here in Pittsburgh. And he was a hockey player. By the end of the night, it was almost like, this is a guy I probably could have been really best friends with. And to cover the funeral and what followed, it was difficult. But I will say, as out of the difficult situation, I got to know the Shulo family very well. The Shulos have been good friends, good people, just a wonderful couple that has found solace in friendship and getting to know people. And I just recently did a 10-year retrospective. It was 10 years ago last year. So I did a piece and I sat down with them for, oh my God, an hour. And, it just takes you back. So suffice to say, that was the hardest story I've ever covered, and one that I hope no one will ever, ever have to cover again, because it makes no sense. It really doesn't. And I mean, human life in general, when people die, it makes no sense, but that morning made no sense at all.
Wow. I honestly, Andrew, I can't even imagine. And I mean this with the most respect. In this particular case, like, I don't even want to. And thank God that you were there to be there for the family. There was something beautiful came out of a horrific situation, at least, you guys making friends. That's good.
Well, over time, it's become a good friendship, and they're good people. And I think that's awesome. So that's the hardest story.
Yeah, I should say so. And, good on you for staying strong enough to be so perseverant and push right through that. I mean, my goodness, I cannot even imagine. And yeah, Bloomfield, Shadyside. I'm an East End girl, so Tesaros and stuff. I didn't know that, so that's very interesting.
The things you learn.
Yeah, I will say. Well, okay, so turning the table then. I mean, you've been there for Super Bowls. You've been there for Stanley Cups. What was the most exciting highlight, to cover so far? Like, and really like an, oh my God, like, wow, like I made it moment, Okay.
Well, there's two things. When you say the most exciting moment, without question, the 2013 wildcard game at PNC.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to Super Bowls, I've been to all-star games, and, obviously all sorts of sporting events, but that night was the most electric night I've ever experienced at any sporting event. And I include a Super Bowl because I've never seen that kind of passion. I've never seen an entire, 36,000 people stood for 9 innings, and they're all wearing black. It was incredible. No, I mean, and people don't understand it. Yeah, people say to me like, well, how can a baseball game, an opening round baseball game, be that emotional and that powerful? I said, because it wasn't about the baseball game. And this, having been here, it was 20 years of frustration coming out in one night.
Relief.
Yes. I mean, when Cueto dropped the ball, the place went nuts.
You know what? I remember that. And that was, you're right. That was epic. Man, good call, Andrew. Good call. Okay. Wow moment. Holy cow, I made it moment.
Yeah, I don't know if I made it, but I do remember I had a chance, this is 2005. It was the Senior PGA Championship at Laurel Valley. And the day before the tournament, they had a media day. And I spent the day, they paired us up like with different golfers. So I got to play with Arnold Palmer for 3 holes.
My guy, fellow Latrobian.
And I mean, it was like, and this guy who invented golf basically in this country. And, we played, it was myself and played a couple of media members, but I got a chance to really spend some time with him. And just to talk to him, I got to the first tee. I remember I was nervous. I was scared to death. I mean, I'm a fairly decent golfer, but it's like, here's Arnie or Mr. Palmer. I never call him Arnie, but it's not just Arnold Palmer. It's Arnold's entourage. He has a guy to hold his jacket, a guy to hold his Arnold Palmer iced tea, he has like 20 people around him. So I get to the tee box and I'm like, what if I shank it? What if I slice it? What if I miss the ball entirely? I'm about to hit. I'm terrified. This is like worse than anything I've ever experienced on television. And I get to the tee box, I'm about to swing, and he yells, "Stop." I'm like, "Stop?" I'm like, "What did I do?" And he comes over, he whispers in my ear. He goes, "Andrew, if you hit one and you don't like it, hit another one. It's my course, my rules today." I was so just relaxed. I outdrove him on the first hole.
You did not. Shut up. Did you really?
Well, he's 75 at that time. Come on, that's not exciting.
It doesn't matter, Andrew. That's really cool. Like I was just so braggadocious about that. Like,
but suffice to say,
that's awesome.
Well, thank you.
I love that. That's a great story. And honestly, Mr. Palmer and his wife Winnie were both fantastic people. And I'm so blessed, to have been from this really cool town. And my my moment, to be honest
Oh,
with you, also involved him. My holy cow,
really?
like I made it moment. Yeah, it does, because what year was that? 2015. This guy called me. His name was Joseph Calm, and he was writing the book, The Legendary Locals of Latrobe, or Latrobe. If you're from there, you say Latrobe.
Right,
And
right.
and they put me in this book, Andrew. They put me in a book, and
Wow.
I'm in there with Fred Rogers and Arnold Palmer, and what the coolest part is because they knew that I now lived in the city of Pittsburgh, and because how much I loved our city, they even put me on page 57.
Wow.
Kind of neat.
Very nice.
So mine involves Arnold Palmer too, but what a giving, wonderful man. Like he's a Latrobe High School alumnus, and I was back. My high school brought me back for the homecoming and did a little thing for me, which was so cool in October. And it was during the pep rally for homecoming. I was like, I haven't been here since like cheer days. I'm like, this is fantastic, you know. But I got to see the new sports complex that Mr. Palmer did with our high school.
Isn't it beautiful?
I'm like, where was this when I attended here? Anyway, but yeah, he's such a wonderful. He's incredible guy.
Well, the thing about him was, after that, we got to know each other on a personal level. So I presented him one year with an award he won from the Woodlands Foundation. I would see him multiple times, and it was always Mr. Palmer. I remember after I played with him, I called my father, who was a big sports fan when I was a kid. I mean, he loved sports. And I got to tell him I played golf with Arnold Palmer. And my dad's the one who said, Andrew, you really have made it. I mean, that's when my father told me that. That's when I realized that, you know, this is a different life. So, you know, he's Arnold, Mr. Palmer, when he passed, it's probably the only time I actually like teared up and cried before I went on the air, because I had to read his obituary, and I produced it, worked on it, and that was probably the hardest. He passed away.
You got me teared, and I like totally.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that.
No, I love
well, nobody
it.
ever asked me these questions. Nobody cares about me. Nobody wants to know about my life. So, I don't think people. Well, I think people. It's interesting in the day that we live in, the age that we live in today. People are, you know, everybody has an opinion. You have social media. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a thought, whatever. My job is not to deal in opinion. I mean, people ask me, what do you think of certain things? I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. Right. I don't think people tune in to hear what I think, so I don't often share my opinion. So this is, you know, you share my life, but I'm not going to share my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it really matters.
Agreed. You know, not that your opinion does matter, clearly, but for being a part of what you do in your career, I think it's a lot better, and it's easier to be more accepted and to not be near or one-sided, to not share opinions in a public way like that. You know, I mean, I tend to not do that myself, you know.
Well, your job is to present the facts, and here's what's happening. I think I know I've done my job well when I have people who call me or email me or reach out to me on social media, and one person says, well, you feel this way, and you feel this way. So if I say something and each side has a problem with it, then I've done my job. Because that means I'm being even-handed, and that's all you can be.
Absolutely.
I think.
I completely agree. And you do a very, very, very tremendous job at balancing all that all the time. You really do. And so, so taking this out on a fun note.
Okay.
What do you love most about Pittsburgh, Andrew?
Wow. What do I love most about Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
You know what? It's probably the same thing I loved about it after about 4 or 5 years of being here and watching it grow and watching it take off and become something what that is today. It really is a small town, and I've always felt comfortable. And I feel like, you know, you found the right place where you feel like, you know, you fit in somehow. And I've always felt like, for the most part, I feel like I fit here. And you know, it's not the buildings, it's not the events, it's not the teams, it's the people. You know, I mean, I can't. Let me put it this way: I can't imagine living anywhere else. And for me to say that tells you that this is home.
100%, and I could not agree with you more. And I think that it's a resilient, perseverant, strong, tremendous city, and it is that way because of the people. Mm-hmm. So I completely concur with you on that. Okay, all right. So tell me one last thing. Like, what are
Sure.
some of your favorite things to do in the city, or favorite spots to hit?
Well, I am somebody who I was a runner for a long time, and then I became what I call an urban walker, which is somebody who doesn't
An urban
run.
walker. Okay.
Somebody who doesn't run, but needs to get into 6 miles anyway. So the paths we have along the rivers are fantastic. Be it the south
Agreed.
side, you know what I'm talking about. Like the Hot Mill Bridge, that path that goes all the way downtown, or I'll go to Washington's Landing and take that path all the way down the north side.
Absolutely.
I will do that any day, unless I'm doing an interview with you, of course. I usually take in the morning a couple hours. I either walk it or run it. No earbuds, no AirPods, no Walkman. My goodness, I'm dating myself. iPhone. I just walk, and I really just kind of take in the city. I love that. That's my favorite way to spend the morning. I do it all the time because it's just something about it. When you have a city to yourself, you feel like even if it's the middle of a work week. So I love doing that. I used to love going to restaurants a lot when when I could go to them, and
Same.
I miss that. I mean, you go, but obviously it's not the same experience.
It's not the same, yeah.
It's not. I mean, but you try and support your local restaurants and obviously
Always, yeah.
when you can. What else? I mean, it's funny. I just love walking around. I mean, it sounds kind of stupid, but I love.
No, it doesn't. It's lovely, actually.
It's silly. Like on NFL, on Super Bowl Sundays, Steelers Sundays.
Well, I mean, it is us. I mean, let's be honest.
I have a pass. I can park at the stadium. I park like in the Strip District, and I just walk. I walk
Do
to the
you
stadium.
really?
I do, because I love looking at the people. I love the buildings. I mean, there's not a lot of places. I think I said this once. I used to do a blog on our station website years ago, but I talked about the fact that I secretly am in love. I'm in love, and I might as well be honest about it. I'm in love with this city. You don't fall in love with her immediately. She's not somebody who you see and you just like pass like, oh my goodness. She's hard. She's difficult sometimes. But if you go around and you take a look behind a corner or down a street, or you look at someplace you hadn't planned on looking before, you find her beauty. And that's what I love about Pittsburgh. There's always a story around every corner. You just have to take the time to take a look.
Well said, my friend. Well said, and so true. And I actually say that even with me, as I say, I moved back here, and all of a sudden, as a little bit more time, evolved, and as more discovery on my behalf started to take place, the city of Pittsburgh became my boyfriend, and I just fell in love, and I would do anything to support it, through thick and thin, and stand by it, and that's what made me want to do this show. So I agree with you. That's
so
lovely.
You get it. So you're
Yes,
dating Pittsburgh. Okay. So we're both dating Pittsburgh.
We're both dating Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm going to leave it alone. Andrew, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being such a wonderful and supportive friend. And thank you for being such an impactful and beautiful person to the city of Pittsburgh.
Well, Natalie, you're very kind. And may I say, look, you are doing some amazing things. You're shining a bright light on what makes this town special. I mean, at this time, we kind of need that. We kind of really need to find the positives in the place we call home. These are very difficult times, and it's hard for all of us dealing with all the things that we're dealing with. And, when someone like you has a smile on your face and you share what's great about the place we've all chosen to live, it makes us take a second look. So I commend you for everything that you've done.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Go and enjoy your walk. Get outside.
I gotta go to work now.
Well,
I'll go tomorrow.
Perfect. Well, you do it, and take a lap for me. I'll be here, but then I'll be back.
Yeah, like I need to take a lap for you. Listen to you. Go have fun. Enjoy your vacation.
All right, Andrew. Listen, thank you so much.